Hello, everybody. I'm Russell Hill, your host of WTF, and that is, of course, What the Fixed Ops. We have a very special guest today that you're going to hear from in just a minute. But before we do, I'd like to introduce.
Hi, everybody. My name is Charity, co-host here at WTF. And before we get started introducing our guest, I wanted to give Jesse, our guest today, a shout out. He is our actual sponsor of the show, Jesse Rodriguez from Garner Oil. Jesse, thank you for sponsoring us and welcome to WTF.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure. Glad that we partnered up.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
don't be shy, Jesse. Don't be shy.
No, I'm not shy at all. So
Okay.
that's not in me. So
Okay.
a little bit about myself. Most people don't know that I'm Cuban. I was born and raised. Came to the US when I was 19. Started the business back in 1997. So unlike most people, I started on the bottom of the company, doing the dirty work, the one that nobody wants to do, and worked my way up into sales later on. A couple of years into the business, they gave me the opportunity to be the sales manager for the company. That was back in 2001. And in 2005, I actually left Garner Oil. Most people don't know that about me. And I left Garner Oil, went to Florida. And I started my own WYNN'S business, which was my wife and I, and two little kids. So we started from zero. And we did very well, actually. A lot of work. And 5 years later, I had the opportunity to move back to Houston and be the general manager for Garner Oil again. So here we are since 2010-ish. That's when I really moved back. And that's basically it, man. That's just a little bit about myself. I've been married for 25 years. I have a wonderful wife. I have three amazing kids. Two of them are actually in college. They're two Aggies. They're Texas A&M. So gig 'em. And I have my youngest son. He's 16. He's a junior at Katy High School in here in Texas. So I love what I do. I really believe I was born to do what I do. I love helping people out to be successful in life. I think we have an amazing company. We have an amazing team. Obviously, as a general manager, you're only as good as your people around you. So, and I can honestly tell you that I have an incredible group of guys that I call family. We're more like a family-oriented business or small business, but we do extremely well. We have a lot of partnerships in the business. As you know, Russell, you and I share a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
So, and that's basically it, man. Just I live a simple life, and that's just about me. That's it. I'm not a special guy by any means. I just try to be the best person I can every single day. That's it.
Humble and kind. I gotta tell everybody out there. So a lot of you may or may not know Jesse, but I met him years and years and years ago. I don't even know, but it was years ago with another company that Rick and I had called R&D Interactive. And Jesse is the what I call a servant leader. He's humble, he's kind, and I think we talked about this in another WTF. There's managers and then there's leaders and servant leaders. Managers light a fire underneath people. Leaders light a fire inside of people. They understand how they tick. They know about their family. They know what their whys are and what they want to get done. And he embraces and takes them as a team. But he not only does that with his employees, but he does it with the clients too. Because I've seen him interacting because we have a lot of the same clients. And I know there's a lot of other products out there that do some semblance of what WYNN'S does. But when I say that he is a vendor partner, it's not just somebody that follows up occasionally. This guy is in the store, making sure things are happening, making sure people know what they do, how to present and stuff like that, because it's a big profit center for the dealership, but it also has tremendous value. So tell us, Jesse, some of the differences, if I covered some of them, the difference between WYNN'S and other similar type products out there, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind that at all. I actually had a meeting yesterday with a new prospect dealership, and obviously I'm not going to mention the company they use by any means. So, I was going through what we do for dealerships, and they were telling me what the other company was doing for them, and I was actually in shock that today there's still companies out there that all they do is supply the equipment and the products. Okay, there's no help, there's no partnership. That's really what you call a vendor. Okay, I don't consider myself a vendor, even that I'm not. So what we do is we really go in and we'll sit down with the managers and we analyze their business. Okay, and we tell you this is what we need to do in order to take you to the whole different level, to new levels. But obviously, I'm only as good as the manager is, right? So because it doesn't matter what we do in the dealerships, if we don't get the support from the management team, I'm the outsider, right? So if I don't get supported by them, it doesn't matter what we do. So, but I don't want to get into specifics, but we do a lot for the dealership, from training to support, the weekly support, from electronic menus. I mean, you name it, we have it all, from A through Z. And I always tell people, look, I'm not the type of guy that's going to come in and tell you, I want to do all the stuff for you. Let me show you what we can do for you. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that go out and they talk very well and they go in and they promise you everything and then they do nothing. I'm the opposite. I try to keep it simple when I go into the stores. You tell me where you are right now, and I tell you, if we work as a team, I can take you to this level because I've seen it before. I know what we can do as a team. But we have to. But again, it doesn't matter what I say. Let me show you. It's the same thing when you interview somebody, right? So they talk a lot and they say all the great things of what you want to hear. But then when they come in and they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. So, and I'm one of those guys. Let me show you what we can do instead of let me tell you what you want to hear. That's basically what it is. So
I think that's great.
Yeah, and obviously I don't want to, tell you everything we do here because, we have a lot of stuff that we do that the truth is the competition doesn't do. They don't even come close to what we have available at their disposal. So,
well, you're making quite a mark in Houston, and I know, and that's why I wanted the difference between a vendor and a vendor partner, because you're in there, you're training, you're helping, you're showing, you're providing the solution, you're providing the machines, the products, and everything else. And it's not snake oil. I know some people call it that, but I use these products in my car, so I know it's not. But it's really important because those types of services are really important to the customer, not just for major repairs, but for recommended maintenance, right? For the express stuff, the flushes and alignments and tires and all the things that go on. And I've seen you training advisors and helping them understand how to actually talk intelligently to the consumer so they understand the feature, advantage, and certainly the benefits of doing that kind of stuff. And I've seen a lot of the other types of companies like, supposedly like yours, but they don't do what you do. That's the mark of excellence. That is the mark of excellence.
Yeah, and to your point, Russell, you said it's snake oil. I always tell people, hey, we are the goodest snake oil. There's the better snake oil, the goodest snake oil. Okay, so you can choose one. All right, so but choose wisely. Something we do, Russell, here at least in Garner Oil, when we train service advisors, we don't train them choosing the WYNN'S products. Okay, we train them about taking care of the customer and trying to simplify things for them on the service drive so they can sell more, not just the WYNN'S services, but everything in general. So we teach really about sales. You know, some of the competition when you go to the training classes, because no, I'm not saying this because I want to say anything negative, but that's what I heard from some of the people that have been in my training classes and our training classes compared to the other one. They go in or they only teach you about their product, okay? Because they obviously want you to sell the product. And I do want them to sell WYNN'S,
Sure.
but at the end of the day, I want them to be a better service advisor in general. So we have an online training class too, that we can put you through for free. It doesn't cost you anything. So that basically teaches you from engaging the customer on the service drive through the active delivery. So everything in between, especially if you're a new service advisor that new to the business, we can put you through that training class. I think it's amazing. Again, it doesn't matter what I think, is more, it's what you think when you take it.
Absolutely.
And then you can put you through the WYNN'S training class after you know what to do as a service advisor. Then we can put you through the WYNN'S training class, which is pretty amazing actually. So yeah, we're a little bit different, I can tell you that. So I don't like to follow anybody's steps. We do a lot of crazy stuff ourselves, meaning in a good way for the dealerships. We have created a lot of programs for the dealerships, so they can be successful. And at the end of the day, it's about taking care of the customer, right? So
It is.
if my customers are happy, their customers are happy, then life is good. And that is just the bottom line to it.
It's the word I mentioned earlier. I've heard that for years and years and years. And I think somebody that just sells a product that doesn't really understand it, it can be construed that way. And there are dealers that say that even use it, and shame on them for even doing it, because there is real value associated with these products. I know because I use additives and things like that. And they enhance things, and there's warranties on some of that stuff to even back it up, etc. But it adds tremendous value. And as a result, it's all about relationships, right? So the men and women out there on the front lines that are making these recommendations and stuff like that, they're building relationships with these customers, not to have them get ticked off and not come back, but it's all about the long game, right? Keep them coming back after the warranty, because there's a big defection rate out there. And I think a lot of what you do in your company, particularly the way you do it, enhances that even further, don't you?
Oh yeah. So I mean, not even what we offer the customer, obviously, from the training and the sales and all that stuff is great. But a lot of people don't know the WYNN'S. We started back in 1939, so we are it. Okay, so we are the pioneer of this business. So one thing that made WYNN'S successful through so many years, not only I gotta say the quality of the brand, and then the support they give us obviously on the field, but it's the quality of the brand. That's something we're not gonna steer away from it. When I started the business back in 1997, there were 3 companies that you had to deal with. It was WYNN'S and 2 other companies. If you have been in the industry for a while,
you know who
those companies are.
Yeah.
You know who they are. So we all know who they are, which is cool. Now you got to compete with all others that we have no idea where they come from, to be quite honest. But the quality of the WYNN'S brand, there is value to the customer. There's a lot of value, not only on the quality of the brand, but when you use the WYNN'S product, there's a warranty that comes with a protection plan. So for as long as you own that vehicle and you use the WYNN'S chemicals, as required by WYNN'S, then your vehicle is protected for life. So there's a lot of value to it. So yeah, on the WYNN'S brand, that's why I love what I do, because yes, I am in sales, but I only sell the stuff that I believe on. If I don't believe in something, I'm not going to sell it. And I am proud to go out every day and do what I do, because I know I bring value not only to our dealerships, but to the end user, which is the customer. So
yeah, I mean, nothing happens till you make a sale, baby. Nothing happens till you make a sale. But what happens after the sales is just as important as it is when you buy a car and they make that sale. What happens after the fact? Are you going to take care of me? Well, they should be promoting. There's sometimes there's a breakdown between sales and service. Okay, And even when I was running stores and worked my way up, I always worked the service drive. It was important. I got a lot of business out of that service drive. I made it a point for building value that during the presentation, demonstration, and all the things that I did, I would walk them back, and I always had one or two go-to people in case somebody was off that day, that I had a relationship with, to make them feel comfortable. This is where you go. This is where you drive in. This is the person you want to see, etc. That makes them feel at ease and comfortable. And I'm seeing a lot more of that going on. And what you do is just an extension of that kind of stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah. So I mean, customer service is really everything. And most businesses, they fail because they don't provide a great customer service, great customer experience. So now the question is, and I might be wrong, but I mean, I'm a very simple guy, so I try to simplify things on everything I do. So what I mean by that is, there's people talking about what is customer service. And I like to keep it simple. Customer service is nothing more than what you promised your customer you were going to do. That's my understanding about customer service. So if you're a service advisor, you promise your customer you're going to call them at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hold on. That's the secret sauce?
That's the secret sauce,
That's
baby.
It? It's that simple.
Just do what you promise you're going to do.
Exactly.
Whatever that is. I don't believe the customer service is written on a piece of paper on a stone. It's just whatever. When you sit down with your customer, you talk to your customer, and you tell your customer, "I'm going to do this for you," or "I'm going to do this with you." Then you got to do it. Otherwise, you promise something. They just like poof there. So if you're a service advisor and you promise the customer you're going to call them at 2 p.m., you better call them at 2 or before 2 p.m. because that's a promise you made, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be a good communication. You have to communicate whatever that is, whether it's good or bad. Okay, customer wants to know what the problem is, what's going on with the vehicle. In our case, our customer wants to know what's going on. And if you make a mistake and you mess it up for whatever reason, just own it.
Own it
and apologize and make it right. That's it. So yes, I'll give you the secret sauce for the customer service. Whatever you promise the customer, that's what.
That's simple.
Just make sure you do it. That's it.
It's
it's funny. It's funny because I actually I don't have a lot of meetings with my guys. I think some meetings are good. Other meetings are a waste of time. But I always start the meetings with customer service, and I always end with the customer service. You can ask any of my guys right now, what does Jesse believes customer service is? And they're gonna tell you is whatever. When we have the meeting with the dealers, or we promise them we're gonna visit you every week. We're gonna pay some dealership they allowed us to pay incentives. We're gonna pay you incentives weekly. That is the promise we made. And my guys, they know how I feel if they don't do what we promise. They know how I feel. So, and I gotta say that we are not perfect by any means. We're like way far from perfect, but we try to do a really good job with what we got. So with our customers.
Good deal.
Yeah. Well, I think, Jesse, a lot of people, or most people in our industry are very familiar with WYNN'S products, but I wanted to ask you, it's been around such a long time. You've been in the business for such a long time. Is there something that you may know about WYNN'S that the vast majority of us wouldn't know?
Well, WYNN'S, because we have been around for so long.
Sure.
And we have such a good quality brand. Most people probably don't know that Mopar, they have a 3-step fuel kit. That's actually a WYNN'S kit that we private label for Mopar.
I didn't know that.
So wow. If you're a Mopar dealership, you can actually place your orders through Dealer Connect. Like if you're doing the Mopar, you get your loyalty points and whatever they do. When you place your order through Mopar, we get the email from them and we will bring you the product and we can train you on that as well. So Mopar, years ago, they had an issue with carbon buildup in the intake in some of the vehicles, and they tested every chemical in the industry. Every chemical. When I said every one of them, they tested absolutely every single one of them because they wanted to find something that could actually fix the problem. And the only one that actually fixed the problem was the WYNN'S brand. And
Wow.
that's why we private label that for Mopar. And that happens I'm gonna say 10-ish years ago. So most people probably don't even know that.
No, I
So,
mean,
but
hence the white label. But yeah, I didn't know that either. That's
yeah,
powerful.
but besides that, we have a lot of OEM approvals from back in the days, from Audi, VW, Ford. I mean, because they've been around for so long,
Yeah.
and obviously, we have an incredible product that really gets the job done. There's no question about that.
Do you think it's the quality of the product that has led to the longevity of the WYNN'S
Oh,
brand?
There's no doubt about that. It's part of my training class when I do training. I always obviously speak about the company, how we started, where we started, and all the stuff that was tested in many different ways back in the days about the WYNN'S brand, and just to make a point, like for them to understand that they're using the best chemical available. I mean, we really are. I know a lot of the companies, they call themselves, I'm the best because of this, because of that. I always tell everyone, let's test each other against each other and let's see what happens. And I can tell you honestly, no one comes even close. I'm just being that honest. So, but to your point, to your question, Charity, yes, I believe that the quality, because the quality of the brand, and obviously, you can have a good product, but if you don't have a good service, it doesn't really matter, right? So I think it had to be a combination of the two. And for so long, obviously we have never steered away from the quality of the brand, and we have always provided an excellent customer service. So I think the two combined is what really makes us pretty unique, pretty special.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say a few words about our new sponsor, WYNN'S. People who love cars love WYNN'S. With over 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. WYNN'S leads through our innovation, our technology, and the products we create. We bring a legacy of superior performance that professional service providers trust through our heritage of innovative formulas and unparalleled service. It starts with fuel and oil, and it ends with excellence. Our dedication to research and development has led to more than 18,000 granted and pending patents across our company. And that drive continues today at WYNN'S. New vehicle technology like EV requires leading-edge service and products. WYNN'S ensures our products meet EV requirements and still provide the same high level of protection that we've always offered. We meet tomorrow's needs by using our knowledge and technology today. WYNN'S brings innovative, technically advanced, professional-grade solutions to the world. Our legacy of innovation and performance is always copied, but never outrun. So thank you, WYNN'S, for sponsoring the What the FixedOPS podcast.
Yeah, it does. I know that it's like more and more people today are not as loyal as they used to be to the brand, meaning like Toyota, Nissan, whoever it is. They can have a great sales experience, but most of their time is going to be dealt with that one day in sales. They're going to be coming in the service department. And if you're not building relationships with them and you're not communicating with them and providing them with value, they're not coming back. They're just flat out not coming back.
Exactly.
And I see some of your competition out there, and some of them are spending a lot of money for name recognition. And
Yep,
you guys are word of mouth. Of course, you're into the NASCAR stuff, which is really big. I like that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. But so I long ago, many years ago, before I got out of retail, about the communication, which is so important because it's horrendous today. I mean, even my car, I got a Genesis, and I have to take it to a Hyundai dealership, even though they're building new standalone Genesis franchises. And just for a simple oil change, they don't even communicate with me. They do no hello, my name is. I mean, nothing like that. It is a horrible relationship. And when you and
Yeah.
then you start making recommendations to me, you've done absolutely nothing. Or if heat cases, which is I wanted to allude to. So many years ago, I was watching this service advisor. I think it could have been the manager. It was so long ago. I told the story. I don't know if it was a manager or advisor, but this lady came in and she was highly agitated and upset and started just berating right in on the individual. That individual taught me something really powerful that to this day I still use. The 6 most powerful words in the English vocabulary is I apologize, will you forgive me? After he let her go on and he listened, not just to respond, but to understand, eye contact, nodding the head. And after she went on, the tempo went down just a little bit. And then when she took a breath and paused, he said that it was over. She was apologizing, for taking it out on him. It was powerful stuff. It was really powerful stuff.
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier, right? So when you make a mistake, own it,
Own it.
apologize, and fix it. That's it. Simple as that. But yeah, to your point, Russell, communication is everything. It's not only in your business, but in your relationship at home with your wife and your kids. If you don't communicate with your wife, how are you going to know that something's wrong? You know what I mean? So how can you fix it if you don't know it? So that
she
is in a way.
sulks around the house and
I'm
stomps her
sorry.
feet.
Yeah.
You'll know because she'll be sulking around the house and
Oh yeah.
slamming doors.
That is very true. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, and not in a good way to know that there's still service advisors and dealerships not communicating well with the customers. What a lot of dealerships got to understand is this, from my point of view. Obviously, I never worked in a dealership before. No, I don't want to work in one. I was offered many jobs before. No, thank you. I'm okay. I love what I do. That we still not communicating well with the customers. I mean, when you have a customer that comes to your dealership or your place of business, 75% of your job is already done. Okay, so it's the hardest thing to do is to bring customers into the dealerships. And a lot of the employees, a lot of service advisors, and everybody in the dealership, they don't understand that sometimes, and it blows my mind. So all you got to do is just take care of the customer and make sure they return. And then we complain when 70% of the customer that buys a new vehicle, once the warranty expires, they're gone. 75%. And it's all because we're not doing what we're supposed to do at the dealership level. When they come in for service, we don't really take care of the customers. And they only come in because the warranty work. And then once that is over, then there's no relationship. They're gone.
Some of them are even gone. The only reason they come is for the warranty work. They're already leaving somewhere else to go to those 16 other non-franchise entities,
That's
right?
it.
Pet Boys and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah,
I was at a training class once, and they showed this graphs. Independent shops, they know how customer feels about dealerships. Okay, and in many cases, they're actually more expensive than the dealerships.
Hold on. Everybody, I want you to listen to this, okay? So let's say you're at one of Jesse's stores. Like I'm going to mention this name because I love these people. It's Golo. Okay, Maxine and Shane, you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, but aside from all those,
I was there last week, actually. Those are my boys.
Yeah, they're great people. And now I forgot exactly what I was going to say. What was I? What? Oh, yeah. So yeah, the point I wanted to make, I got it on the Shane. The point I wanted to make is that everybody, I see the two biggest defection points. There's many contributing factors, but the two biggest ones are oil changes and tires. That they end up defecting and going because it takes too long, or they don't even ask for the tire business. Okay,
Yep.
you and I both know that. Hey, Discount Tire, they do a phenomenal job. They really do with tires, rims, and wiper blades. That's where it ends. Nobody's better equipped than Maxine and Shane's,
Yep.
Go. They're just not. And so they think that it's cheaper down the street. In fact, it's really not, is it? And you're hearing
Really
a guy
not.
that's telling you that it can be, but most of the time it is not. And why people think that's the same thing about tires and oil changes. You think you can get it cheaper at Discount Tire? In fact, the dealerships can compete and be more competitive. And if they buy tires and they're coming back for those two things, you own them.
Yep. 100% agree with that, man. I couldn't say it any better than that, Russell. I mean, it just
You can pay me later.
Yeah.
No,
It is unbelievable. So all we got to do is take care of the customer, and it's over. You know what I mean? So that's why we have created, because moving forward, I really believe, unfortunately, dealership are not selling many vehicles, because of many reasons. Interest rate, people are scared because of the economy, whatever. But I really believe on the fixed side, the next 4 or 5 years are going to be amazing. That's going to be the backbone. It always has been the backbone of the dealerships, to be quite honest. It's just now more than ever. I think general managers are realizing that, hey, we need more. So, meaning that, hey, it's all about customer retention moving forward. So we have created a couple of things a little bit different than the competition, and a very inexpensive way to retain your customers. Because again, if you don't do something now to make sure that customer comes back after the warranty is over, so then they'll be gone. 75%. So I always bring this up and I ask people like, so we know we're losing 75%. Dealer, you're losing 75% of your customers. That's just a fact. Can you imagine if we can reduce that to 50%? What would that do to your business, Mr. Customer? If you can just retain another 25%, you have people line up when you said we drive all the way down to the street. You know what I mean? So, but I don't think we're providing enough, not only for the customer, but I don't think we're providing enough training for the service advisors and the people to take care of their customers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I might be wrong.
No, you're not.
But I think sometimes we get what I like to call the comfortable, get comfortable in the business, and we just don't want to go the extra mile. And unfortunately, if you want to be successful, buddy, you got to grind every single day.
Right.
That's just a fact.
You do.
There's those that wait for things to happen. There's those that make things happen. So I want to believe that I'm the one that make things happen.
And then there's the other ones out there that wonder what the hell happened.
What the hell happened? Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not on that one. Okay.
Yeah, right.
On that group, anyways. So yeah, man, it's exciting. I love what I do, man. It's just an amazing business that we're in. Yeah.
You can. And man, 75% is such a huge amount. It's massive. It's unacceptable. I can just see how some people are trying to solve this problem. And it's not an easy problem to solve. We say it sounds so easy, but is it really that easy?
No, but
it's not, but sometimes we complicate things a little too much. It doesn't have to be that complicated. All right. So we go back to everything, leads back to the same thing. It's about whatever you promised when that customer walked in, or you met him on the Civic Drive and you walk around, if you do, and you promise that customer, this is what's going to happen moving forward. This is what I'm going to do for you. Just make sure you do it. That's it. And I can promise you that we're going to retain a lot of those customers, but we got to start somewhere. So,
yeah.
Well, you came from, you said Cuba, right?
Yep.
And came to the States. So I want to ask you, a very successful business that you're running. Did you have a mentor along the way in there? And if so, what did that person do?
That's a good question, actually. Look, I've always considered myself a businessman. I mean, when I was in Cuba back when I was 12, 13 years old, I was always buying and selling and buying and selling. I don't know. I just, you know, I want to consider myself a businessman. So, to your question, I did have a mentor on the sales side to kind of know the business a little. They're not in management. When they gave me, I didn't go to college. So I was a year and a half into college and I dropped out. Right. So, and I was going in for business and I wanted to major in finances. I'm a numbers guy. So when I started as a manager, I really didn't have a mentor on the management side. So I had to really learn everything on the fly. And I don't know if I'm doing things right on that. But I have talked to a lot of people that they have MBAs and stuff like that, and it seems like I'm doing something right. So, and I really believe that, business is more like number one about customer service. That's number one. Number two, and that's just me. All right. So this is my business, is about buying at a fair price, selling at a fair price, and control your expenses in between.
Mm-hmm.
So you control your expenses and make sure you're profitable, pay you guys well so you don't have a lot of turnovers, because we spend more times training people than we do actually trying to make money. So I'd rather pay my guys very well so they don't go anywhere. And that's why nobody leaves the company, because we treat them, number one, we treat them like family. And number two, I pay them very well. Everybody makes a good living, and that's what it's really all about. And but at the end of the day, it's about taking care of the customers too. So, but yeah, no, to your question, I did have a mentor on the sales side. I've never had a mentor on the management side. So, but my number one mentor on the business side was about me leaving the company in 2005, moving to Florida, and starting my own business from zero.
Mm-hmm.
So that is your biggest mentor. You got to make things happen. I mean, we started from zero, no money. I didn't make a dime for 2.5 years. I'll be honest. We were living off our saving accounts. So speaking about a mentor, that'll put you through hell and back. If you have never owned a business before, you will never understand what is that like.
Yeah, there's some real low spots there at times when you're stepping out like you and your wife did, move to Florida, start tapping into your savings. I bet there's a lot of stories about those 2.5 years, the trials and tribulations. But hey, you learned so much that you would have never learned probably.
I think that made me a better manager. Not that I'm great by any means. I'm probably do a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of things that I'm sure I can improve on, for sure. But I think having my own business really, really helped me tremendously to be a better person and a better manager.
Maybe a better
again,
husband.
Well, you got to ask my wife that question.
Well, she's still with you after 3 kids and all this. So that's good. That's good.
You got to ask my wife that question, buddy. I don't know, man. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way anyways.
I understand.
So yeah, I wish I would have a mentor, to be honest, on the managing side. I had a guy down in Miami, Rick Benitez, a WYNN'S guy. He's the one that really kind of helped me a little to get started. With the QuickBooks and stuff like that, and I visit his company, and so I but that was like a day or two. It's not like a weekly mentor to sit down with you and go through everything and make sure you're doing things right. But again, I'm a very simple guy when it comes to running the business. I empower my guys to do what they're supposed to do. I tell my guys all the time, look, I don't micromanage. I don't really care if you start at 9 a.m. and go home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I really don't care. What I don't want is customer complaining. I want you to take care of your customer and do what you promised you were going to do. As long as the customers are happy, I'm good. I'm happy. Customers growing. Life is good. Again, I really want to believe that we keep a simple life, because there's more to life than just business, right? So you got a wife, you have kids. And what I like to do within the company is try to have a balance. And I know some businesses that don't allow you to have that, especially dealerships. Most of my friends, actually three of my best friends, they're in the car business. They're general managers, they're fixed guys. So I know what it's like. So, and unfortunately, it is what it is. You got to put food on the table. You have wife, you have kids. You have to do what you have to do. Our business allowed us to have a little more balance than that. So meaning that, hey, go home, go watch your kids, play football, go watch your kids play soccer or whatever, Want to take a week off, take a week off. Make sure, again, at the end of the day, it's about taking care of your customers. If the customers are happy, I'm happy, life is good.
Yeah.
So, and I think from the managing standpoint, a lot of us sometimes we forget about that there is life beyond the business side.
We are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, the repairs go up and the revenue potential goes up, but people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
Well, that's just me, obviously, right? So,
Well, I think
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry,
No,
Russell.
you go ahead, Cherry.
Did you learn your leadership style through experience? Did you start out one way and kind of transition over time, or have you always been this way?
I learned that, just as you go. I always use the golden rule, right? So treat people the way you like to be treated.
Yeah.
So, and I try really, really hard to be like that. So I didn't like to be micromanaged. I wanted to have a little bit of freedom to go home and spend time with the kids. Like I said earlier, I had 3 kids. All 3, they go to the gym. They're very active in sports. So I was able to go see them play. And I tell my guys, look, man, if you have little kids, they're playing sports, work around your schedule. But if your son has a soccer game at 3 p.m., you might want to start a little bit earlier. Go hit your accounts, make sure everybody's taken care of. Go watch your kid play soccer. Because I did it, you can do it as well. That's not, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I kind of learned that on my own. My managers, when I was working for Garner Oil, not as a manager, he was pretty good. He didn't micromanage either. So he allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do. In our company, everybody has a goal every month. And as long as we're hitting the numbers, I really don't care how you get it done. Just work around your schedule, just get it done. So
Pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
again, Russell, I'm sorry, again, I don't like to complicate things. And sometimes we complicate things a little too much.
Yes,
and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be that way.
No, I'm seeing I'm not saying everywhere, and maybe in the overall scheme of things, it's not a huge percentage, but there is something going on. And the service department is either the second largest profit center for the dealership, or it's the largest profit for the dealership. And things are changing. People are keeping their vehicles longer because of pre and post COVID and all the things that happen. Or if they do want to trade, they can't because they paid what they paid during the height of COVID when they thought things were never going to go back to normal. Who knew? But I know this: during that last 3.5 years, some manufacturers have changed. The CSI thing, right? A lot of money involved in happy customers, okay, and chasing that. but other people have transitioned, one of which I think it's changed a little bit is Toyota. They stopped doing all that. Now it's all about 2 visits a year. And I think they dropped it to 1, but to keep it coming in the door. Okay. And that's a direct reflection, obviously, of CSI. And I think it's called TLE or something like that. They start tracking that stuff. The first defection rate is 7 to 12 months. Okay. And I'm seeing a lot of flexibility, like I said, maybe not in the overall scheme of things, but with service departments in doing what you talked about, having some time, maybe a 4-day work week, split shifts or something like that, where you can have some kind of life. And then on top of that, a lot of people are starting to move away from just people that have been service advisors. Personally, I would rather have somebody with the right attitude and social skills than I would somebody with a lot of experience. Because you can have somebody with a lot of experience and they are horrible with customers. and that's going to burn you, because you can take somebody like that, Jesse, and you can mold somebody if the man or woman has the right idea. And I see a lot more women coming into the business as well.
Yeah, again, I have trained probably thousands of service advisors, from like Greenpeace to like guys that have been in the business for 50 years, okay? And the hardest people to train is usually the one that's been around for a long time, because they think they know it all. And because I did it like this back in the 1970s, I can still doing it today in 2023. Well, it doesn't work that way, bud. Things have changed, okay? And you hit them right on the nail. It's not about the right attitude. So one thing that nobody can teach you is about your attitude. That is something, that's who you are, and that is you. The rest we can teach. And you're right. I mean, I'd rather have somebody with the right attitude. They can actually communicate with the customer in a nice way. And the rest, I can teach you along the way. But your attitude, nobody can teach you that.
No.
So, and you're right about that. Some of this, not everyone, but a lot of the older guys, because they've been doing it for a long time, they don't really do a very good job when it comes to the customer service. It's just horrendous.
No.
I mean,
think about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Russell, that standard has changed over time too, right? Customer service in the 70s is not the same as it is today.
No, and as a dealer, digital, right? So, we got to communicate with the customer the way they want to be communicated with.
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, we still, who listens to voicemails anymore? I know I don't.
It's very rare that I do. And most people that know me don't know not to leave me, because I know you call. Right?
So exactly. So, I mean, who checks emails anymore? I mean, I do, but I get about 1,000 emails every day. I mean, if I don't recognize it, I just simply delete them. I don't even, so, if you're a dealer, you might want to step it up and try to communicate with the customer. I'm going to say this via text messages. Every text message is read every 6 seconds. So what a better way to communicate, right, than via text messages. And we still, and it's kind of crazy, because not because I provide a service like that as well, because we do, but I'm not saying this to be, for you to call me and say, hey, I want to see what you have. That's not the point. Whether you're using the service we provide or not, there's many services available, right? So you have to make sure that you get up to speed the way customer want to communicate, which is by text messages, phone calls. They're still okay, but I don't think that's a proper way to communicate in 2023 anymore. Multi-point inspection, we're still doing what? The little check boxes, right? Red, yellow, and green. It's horrible. Okay, people don't want that stuff anymore. I mean, what does that even means? So, video multi-point inspections, that's what it's at. People can see it.
Right.
And I always bring up this to any of the dealerships. I always ask the question, how long you been around? Oh, I started, back in 1970. Well, how we did business back in 1970s? What do? You put the vehicle up on the left, you go to the lobby, grab the customer, bring him in, and you show him. what was wrong with the vehicle? And I always ask a question, what do you think the closing percentage was when you show the customer what was wrong with the vehicle? Well, it goes to like 90 something, sometimes close to 100% closing ratio. So video multi-point inspection, that's exactly what you're doing. You send the customer a video, they can see exactly what is wrong. Instead of bringing the customer to the vehicle, now we're taking the vehicle to the customer.
Yeah.
So, and it blows my mind. And it blows my mind. There's a lot of fixed guys and service managers resistant to the change.
Yeah, you're going to talk to me about brakes, and I need brakes. My rotors are warped or gouged, and my pads are gone, and you're going to tell me about it, and I'm going to have a question. But if you show it to me in a video MPI, I mean, we're talking about my safety. We're talking about, well, my kids, not so much today, but my grandkids. I'm telling you right now, I want to make sure I got stopping power. That's no different than somebody coming to your door that you know, and you just turn around and open the door, you turn around and walk away, and then tell them to sit down. And here's the best way to start. Just smile and say, welcome, and my name is, and your name is. That's it. Start there. Simple, right? They don't even do that. They don't even
do that anymore. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, man. So, yeah, I mean, we as an industry really want to step up and make sure that we keep up with the changes.
Yep.
Because if not, you're going to be left in the dust. I mean, you will be left out.
And
that's for sure.
We don't have time really because we're almost at the end, and there's a lot that I want. But I'm telling you, you mentioned it earlier in the show, and I'm going to emphasize what Jesse mentioned earlier. Things are changing. In the next 3, 4, and 5 years, there's going to be a tremendous shift. There's a lot of things going on in the industry, and AI and other types of technology of welcoming the customer, meeting the customer where they're at, but transitioning, because everybody's starting to realize, and the ones that don't out there, if you're not making the changes and adopting some of the things that Jesse's talking about, that level of transparency, those customers are going bye-bye. And you're gonna end up going bye-bye. Someone's gonna end up buying you right out of your franchise, because the future is in fixed operations. Am I right, Jesse? Am I right, Charity?
Oh yeah, we know about this. We're insiders on this topic.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Well, since we're so close to the end, Jesse, what we like to do is open up the floor to you. I know that I sent you all the questions. We didn't get to all of them, but if we did miss anything in particular, you're welcome to say it now, or give your contact information, or whatever makes you comfortable. Go for it.
Yeah, tell them how to get
you can find me on LinkedIn. Jesse Rodriguez, obviously. If you need to talk to me about anything, shoot me a message and, DM me. I can give you my cell phone number. It's 713-875-4111. I'll repeat it, 713-875-4111. So if you want to know what we do, exactly what we do, just call me. I'll be more happy to sit down with you. No obligation to buy anything, just to, see what's out there. Sometimes you don't know until you know. And I'm going to say this, the meeting that I had with the customer yesterday, with the prospect customer, he told me how many services that we're doing. And I asked him a question, and I'm like, are you happy? And the guy said, oh yeah, I'm pretty happy. And I'm like, how many customers you see a day on an average? And the guy said about 70 or 80. And said, you telling me you're doing 40 services a month? You should be doing 500 services a month.
Yep.
And you're telling me you're happy? Come on, man, give me a break. So, but anyways, again, it's not about what I say, it's about what we do. That's the bottom line to it. All right. Let me show you what we do. And if you're interested, call me. If not, God bless you. And I wish you guys the best.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, Russell and Charity. It's been a pleasure, like always. Thank you for the partnership. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. So listen, I want to set something up, because something we spoke about earlier about leaving voice messages. So if you call Jesse as a result of this number he left you, I encourage you to leave a voice message this particular time. so he knows who you are. Is that okay, Jesse?
Actually, yes, but text me. Send me a text.
There you go. Send a text. You can certainly do that. Send a text. But no, listen, Jesse Rodriguez, General Manager, Garner Oil, exclusive distributorship with WYNN'S, great company, great culture, great people. Products are awesome, off the charts. We're humbled and honored to have you on here. And Charity, thank you for all that you do, because it wouldn't happen without you. So greatly appreciated. I don't know the exact date. We're going to find out here in just a minute. But when this comes out, just listen, like him, love him, share him, check him out on LinkedIn. We all go to LinkedIn now for those kind of contacts. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing guy. You probably got that from this. But there's a lot, if you didn't get, there's little shorts that you're going to be able to see, but we encourage you to like it, love it, and share it. And thanks everybody, all of you out there, because this wouldn't be possible without all the feedback and all the listeners we have. We have thousands of them. Thank you so much. We're humbled and honored for all of you. And this is another successful episode of WTF. And that's What the Fixed Ops to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.